I am the Esperanza 243. You are here to listen and or watch me read a book aloud. A book that I have written. A book I call Musketeer Power. This is part... Hey everyone, I am the Esperanza 243. Welcome to the next book reading of Musketeer Power. Oh my gosh, so exciting. Okay, so just a quick minute or two before I do the recap of chapter 3. I just want to kind of brief you guys. I know I put up a vlog of what's been going on, but I do have one more update. I did try to figure out how to use the green screen properly, and I know how to do it. I just need the right video converter, because for some reason, the AVI file that I use, like the camera that I'm using right now is my camcorder, and it only has AVI. So I have to figure out how to change that so that I can use it on the editing software that I have. It's really dumb for some reason. I don't know why. Because every time I try to edit on every time I try to use that editing software, yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about Musketeer Power. Oh my gosh, I'm still excited that I'm able to do this for you guys, and I'm really glad that I was able to get a new printer, because this is what I kept getting every time I printed with my old printer. Not good, and this has been going on for over a year. Look at the new printing now. Awesome! Yeah! I love my new printer. So, I believe in chapter 3, the previous video was on chapter 3, and what happened in chapter 3 was basically an introduction of Trisha Payne. Now, she's the serious woman of the group, which you can actually kind of tell in this one. She's more realistic. She has a little more character. Well, not a little more. She doesn't have as much character, I should say, as Amari. And basically, what happened with Trisha in chapter 3 was her going to the Enchantress. She knew that the Enchantress has been bringing people in to either give them power or to help them out with their travels or anything like that, especially putting magic on their items, weapons, or anything like that. Trisha knew that she had to bring something with her. She chose her, not arrows. No, she doesn't get... She receives the bow and arrows. That's the things she got from the Enchantress. But she brought her marbles and her slingshot, and those were enchanted. Well, no, her marbles are enchanted. That's right. Her marbles can now temporarily blind people with one hit. With one hit of that marble. And fortunately, she enchanted all of the marbles that she has. And I think any marble that is joined into that little group, I think they're added to that enchantment as well. I didn't think that far ahead, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen though when she gets more marbles for her slingshot. But she learns from the Enchantress. Can't remember if I did that on purpose or not, but she learns from the Enchantress that her and other people's destinies have been altered, and she needs to be careful of what's about to happen, but she doesn't know what's going to happen. She only knows what has happened, which is crazy. But she doesn't like the fact that she's being sent away, because she doesn't want to be away from her dad and her boyfriend. That's actually kind of where we are, actually. Enchantress kind of sends out a message, like, right after she leaves, saying that she has to go. She has a destiny to fulfill, even though that she can avert it, at least for a little while. Or for as long as she can, but she can't ultimately avoid her destiny, you know. I'm not going to go there for reality life, but... but she pretty much kind of helps Trisha make the decision that she has to go. And her dad is also trying to convince her of that as well, because they both know that Trisha doesn't belong in this city, that she has more to give. And she finally believes that after the performance with Amari Neven, which I still think is an incredible performance, especially after I've done so much theatric to it for 3 of the characters in the book. Oh, that's right. And when she returns home, her boyfriend Jimmy is there, and he's trying to figure out what happened and what's going on. And actually, she tells him what happened before she went to Amari's performance, and that's where we are. So, apologies for all the talking and the recap, but I figured you guys wanted to know that stuff in case you're not fully following through with the book. So I'm going to go ahead and continue chapter 3, and we'll see how much far we can get with chapter 4. A bow and arrow. What does she expect you to do? Trisha searched his eyes before responding. Leave, she whispered with a heavy heart. Leave everything behind. His face fell as it struck him. He shook his head. Let me come with you. I'm old enough. My parents will understand if I leave. She kissed his cheek. Dad took me to D'autres Je Crois. I should have been there. That dancer Amari performed the last time. She's leaving too. I'm not sure why. I didn't hear the last bit. She shook her head. The music she chose. Goodness. Jimmy, it was amazing. I played violin along with it. Her dad walked by, carrying the bow and quiver of arrows. You should have heard it, Jimmy. He smiled at them. She was amazing. So was Amari. And that mysterious singer. He paused, observing the two. I'll leave you two alone. He walked inside to let them have privacy. So you were amazing. Why am I not surprised? Jimmy said with a smile. I'm still coming with you. Trisha opened her mouth to object, but he stopped her with a passionate kiss. The passion pulsed through her lips and down her spine. She collapsed in his arms. He caught her with his arms wrapping around her back. When he pulled away, he observed her face. Trisha looked as if she would fall asleep. Will you at least admit you might need me? I know I will, she whispered hoarsely. Oh, goodness, Jimmy. You almost topped it. Topped what? When I played my violin, listening to that music, so much spirit filled me. I've never felt that alive before. She paused to think. You can come. She stopped his excitement by continuing. But once there is any danger, I want you to go back home. Trisha hugged him tightly. I don't want to see you hurt, she whispered. Okay, Trish. I understand. He kissed her forehead. I'm gonna pack then. You should too. We'll meet at the station, okay? Before slipping inside, she nodded. A few hours later, they found each other in a sleeping car. She did the same as Amari and got a room, which she shared with Jimmy. He agreed to take the floor. There wasn't enough room for a cot. I'm gonna explore, she said to him. After putting his suitcase next to hers, he turned to her. Don't worry, I'll be back. She kissed his cheek. Trisha left the room. It didn't take long before she bumped into the dancer of 18 annuals. Oh, wow. I love that shade of blue, Amari complimented. Thanks. She smiled faintly at the dancer. Wait, I think I've seen you before. Chapter 4. Jean, I can't find it. She grunted as she searched everywhere. Macy even looked under the bed. Find what? She heard. Her brother came into her bedroom. What'd you lose this time? He teased with a smile. I can't find my violet belt. He laughed. Jean! It's in the kitchen. He watched his little sister, Tiffany Giardina, rush to the kitchen. She saw it on a chair and snagged it. Quickly, she tied the belt on before heading out. I'll see you later. When Macy arrived at the jiu-jitsu school, she hurried to a classroom. Leslie saw her and gestured her to come in. Macy walked to the front to take her spot. "Welcome, Macy. About time you joined." The class was just about to begin.
"Sorry, Les. I misplaced my belt."
She bowed to him and stood in place.
"I'm ready, Sensei."
Macy smiled at him. Leslie, the instructor, bowed as well before he fought with her to show his class. Her violet belt proved to the students that she was 2 levels close to a black belt. An hour later, they finished class. "Macy, I'd like a word, please," she grunted before walking up to him.
"I'm sorry, I didn't mean to misplace it. I'll put the belt in an obvious place from now on,"
she explained in a frenzy. He chuckled. "That's not what I wanted to talk about."
"Oh, it's not?"
Leslie shook his head.
"Then what is it?"
"I've talked to the other 3, Sensei, and they agree with what I am suggesting to you now." Macy eagerly hung on his words, curious and excited. "It's time for your next belt test." She fist-pumped the air. Leslie laughed. "Would you like to prep for it now?"
"Oh, I would love to, Sensei."
A male student tapped on her shoulder. Macy turned to see who it was. "This is for you. Don't forget the earbuds," the male student said, giving her a folded paper and a pair of earbuds. Before putting them in, she nodded in confusion. Macy opened the paper to read it, but she didn't have to do so. "Macy Giardina," the Enchantress said inside her ears. Macy's eyes widened. "I need to speak with you within the hour. Please ask your brother to drive you. There is no item to bring. Sign, the Enchantress Viola." The paper suddenly folded itself into the shape of d'autres Juquois and exploded into a puff of smoke. Macy stared at her empty hand as the smoke dissipated. She stared at the sensei next. "Was that from the Enchantress?"
"Yeah, it was. And that shape. It looked like d'autres Juquois."
"Well, she loves hidden messages as guidance. I know that for certain."
"I guess that means I'm going there after she's done talking to me."
She sighed.
See you later, Les,"
she called as she left for home. Feeling rushed, she headed to her house as quick as she could. Macy searched the place for her brother after a quick change of clothes. She couldn't find him anywhere. Then it struck her. He volunteered at the theater. Macy hurried with only 30 minutes left. She found him at the box office for Amari's performance. "Hey, Macy, what's up?"
"I need a ride to the Enchantress's mansion."
"Good grief! How long have you been looking for me?" He got out of his seat to get his things together.
"Half an hour, and I need to be there in 30 minutes.
They got in his car before he started it. "Okay, we have a little bit of time." The grand doors opened when they arrived. "Good luck!" Excited, she unbuckled her seatbelt and hurried inside. When she saw everything, she gasped.
"Whoa,"
Macy whispered.
"I forgot how gorgeous they were."
"Careful on the marble stairs, Miss Giardina." Her voice boomed. "You don't want to slip and fall." Macy walked up the stairs, turned right, and then left. Gulping nervously, she knocked on the door. "Enter!" Macy walked in and sat down.
"You called me, Enchantress?"
"I did, Miss Giardina. I know you are going for your brown belt."
"Yeah, I am, Enchantress,"
she said with a smile, though she sighed. "What troubles you, my dear?"
"It's just, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing more. I don't only want to be the best. I want to be a musketeer."
"That is why I told you to come," the Enchantress said with a smile. "I've already arranged the test for your brown belt. It is after Amari Miven's performance."
"Enchantress?"
Her brows narrowed in confusion. "Trust me, Miss Giardina, you'll see why I set it up that way." She snapped her fingers. and a sword with gold and yellow details appeared. Enchantress Viola touched it before whispering a spell. Macy stared at the ornate sword. She loved it, especially the yellow, her favorite color. When the enchantress finished, she held the sword in its sheath to Macy as it glowed yellow. She was super speed with every wield after that. Super speed? Awesome.
For me, Enchantress? But why?
You will need it, my dear. After you get your brown belt, you are to travel to Verol. The singer gasped.
Are you certain, Enchantress? And how can you be certain I'll pass?
I think we both know you'll pass, Miss Giardina, she said with a smile. You may go, my dear.
Oh, thank you, Enchantress,
Macy said after taking the sword.
Thank you so much.
She stood and left the office. She squealed while jumping. I'm gonna be a musketeer! Macy sat on the handrail and slid down. She whooped in excitement. What happened? Jean asked when she got in. You look like you're gonna... His eyes widened after he saw her putting the sword in the back seat. Whoa!
Back to the theater, Jean,
she said excitedly.
I have a feeling I need to be backstage.
Ah, and do you think Amari is going to need your help? As she laughed, he raised his brows at her.
No, but I think she'll be inspiring. Come on, she's going to start dancing any minute.
When they arrived, she hurried out of the car.
Do me a quick favor, please. Could you get my jujitsu outfit from home? There's a test afterwards. I'll meet you at the doors when the performance is over. Promise.
Jean laughed at her. Man, you're crazy high on excitement, little sis. See you soon. Macy made it in time to hear the last of the announcement.
To become a musketeer.
She happens to be one of my greatest friends.
Please welcome Amari Van!
Kendra called out. Macy hastened through one of the side doors into the area of stage left. When the music started, Macy determined on what to sing. The wave of Amari's music and Trish's violin hit her. They controlled her voice. She couldn't stop the words singing out of her mouth.
I walked downtown and looked around,
she sang nervously.
Telling you that you were wrong. I'm not living large. I'm not working hard. That is what they call devotion. This is not so hard. I will not give up. You just wait a minute. I am living proof. Look at me now. Never did I think that was right. This is how I live.
The confidence in her singing grew while the music and violin played. Macy never paid attention to her words. The passion she felt from the music and violin spoke them. In her heart, she knew she and Amari weren't the only ones heading to Verol. The violinist proved it. What a shame the designer wasn't a part of their performance. When she sung her last note, she spread her arms wide and down, striking a fierce pose. The audience cheered and applauded, not to mention giving tons of praises, which echoed throughout the entire theater. Macy smiled as she slightly bowed, her legs together when her hands gently slapped them. She turned to leave, but stopped suddenly. Kai and Kendra stood before her. Macy smiled sweetly as she realized energy had filled her up during their performance. She giggled and waved at the women.
Wow,
they chorused.
Don't tell her. I have a feeling I and that violinist are going to meet on the train to Verol.
Macy gasped when she heard footsteps. She hastened off to the front of the theater. It turned out her brother Gene waited at the entrance doors of the audience. She hugged him tight while laughing. "That was incredible!
You saw the performance?"
Gene shook his head with a smile. "I heard the music and your singing." He hugged back. "Come on, let's get you to that jujitsu test. We don't want you to be late." A few hours later, she wore her new yellow jujitsu outfit with the brown belt at the train station. She loved showing off her success. Not to mention she'd get to show the sword the Enchantress gave her. She was a bit nervous to use it. She vocalized quietly, making sure her lips stayed separate. Macy had learned years before that humming could ruin the vocal box. It made her wonder how long it took for people to recognize that fact. Not long after, her vocalizing changed to words. People gathered around her when they recognized the song.
"All my life I've lived to believe the wrong things. I know what to do."
She paused before continuing. Her singing slowly built up.
"Don't tell me I can't do this. Don't tell me how to live my life. Don't place those doubts on me. Don't add your regrets. It's not my fault."
She chuckled with a smile.
"I want this life. I want this life. You won't change my mind."
Macy smiled when the people surrounding her applauded. Before they left, she thanked them. Sophia came up to her in curiosity.
"Excuse me." "Yes?"
She glanced at Sophia with raised brows.
"Are you lost?"
Sophia chuckled.
"No, I'm not. I was going to ask about your singing. You're very good."
"Thank you," Macy said.
"I was born with it."
She placed a hand on the sword, resting on her travel bag.
"Who are you?" "I'm Sophia."
She paused for a moment.
"You wouldn't by any chance know what a handless instrument is, would you?" "A handless instrument?"
Macy spoke aloud as she thought.
"Well, I don't know any instruments that can be played without a hand. You always have to use it in order for your head or mouth to interact with it."
She paused.
"Then again, you don't need your hands to sing." "Exactly. And you have a very talented handless instrument. What's your name?"
"Hi, Macy. Macy Giardina.
"I'm actually looking forward to this journey." Wait, Giardina?"
Macy nodded.
"I know you! You have 2 CDs released in town. Oh my gosh, it is so nice to finally meet you."
Macy laughed.
"I'm sorry. I'm embarrassing you, aren't I?"
"You're not, honestly. It's been a while since someone has talked to me like that. I'm just as great in jujitsu. In fact, I just got my brown belt today."
"Wow, that's incredible. But why are you on the train out of town?"
She narrowed her brows in confusion.
"I'm heading to Verol to master the skills of sword fighting. What about you, Sophia?"
And I am actually going to stop there. We're not at the end of the chapter, but we are pretty close, and I want to save the rest of this chapter for the next video. And I told you guys, I believe in the first video of Musketeer Power, I was able to record the full chapters of 1 and 2 on separate videos, but I knew chapter 3 and 4 were going to have too many pages to read all in one, so I kind of broke them down just by a few pages, if you haven't noticed, because there's actually like a page left really of the chapter, but I want to save that bit for the next video, mainly because of what happens towards the end of the chapter is really exciting. So I'm going to save that for the next video. I am really excited about this book. I love this book. I hope you are enjoying it as much as I am. I actually am looking forward to actually getting this as a printed book. I'm looking forward to it. I hope to see you all in the next video. And I hope you all have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I am the Esperanza 2 for 3. Signing out.